Have you ever had a hole in your favorite shirt? Well, this isn't my favorite shirt. It's more like a sleep shirt, but it still has a hole nonetheless, as you can see. I guarantee that at some point in your lives, you guys have had a shirt that has suddenly found a hole in it, or your favorite pair of jeans has ripped. Just the other day, my dogs ripped a favorite pair of my jeans right down the back, right before I had to go to school. Unfortunately, my sewing kit was here, so I'm not able to fix it yet. But when I go home, because of my sewing skills, I'll be able to make my pair of jeans look brand new. So today, I'm going to help you guys learn to sew so that you too can make your closet look brand new to boost your confidence. The steps I'm going to be teaching you is to thread your needle, sew up the hole, and then unthread your needle. Alright, so first to start, you want to look at your needle and choose the type of thread that you want to use. For a pink shirt like this, I have many different swatches because my favorite color is pink. This one is definitely too dark, as you can tell. So let's look at some other options. This one looks almost near perfect, but when looking at the other options, you can see that it's not the best choice. This one, however, is a near perfect fit. So if I was sewing up this hole at home, this is the one that I would use. However, for today's demonstration, I'm going to be using green so that you can see it more effectively. So whenever you do your thread, you want to pick the right thread length. So whenever I look at a hole, I typically like to do around 6 times the size of the hole. And that is because whenever you go to thread your needle, it's actually going to cut in half. So most of the time when I'm at home, I just guess and it usually turns out well. But I've learned that going around 6 times the size of the hole works best. So for a hole size like this, I would do a thread about this length. Now, to tie your knot, you would just take your thread, push it through the needle, but I do not have the best eyesight and I don't want to spend a bunch of time looking at my needle trying to fit it through a tiny hole and waste a bunch of time. So I already have my thread in my needle. So now the next step is to tie the knot. You want to get the end of your thread wet. I'm not that fancy, so I just do that. And then you're going to take your thread, put it in between your thumb and your pointer finger, wrap it around almost one time, but before you loop, go in between your thumb and your pointer finger, and then you're just going to tweeze the end out until a knot forms at the end. You can kind of see it there, it's really tiny. Sometimes, especially whenever you're first starting, it can take you a few times to get that knot at the end, but once you have it, you're all set. So now you have your threading needle, and all that's left to do is actually sew, which is easy once you follow a few simple steps. The first one is that you want to turn your material inside out. That is because whenever you go to sew, the thread that's left at the end of the knot is going to poke out through your shirt, and you don't want to have that sticking out. So you'll take your hole, and you're going to pinch it on both sides just enough that your needle has room to fit through the gaps. So then you're going to take your hole, and you can start from any side, it doesn't matter which. But you're just going to do even strokes across the material. And I like to leave just a little bit of room in between each gap to go back over if needed. For smaller holes, you might not need that, but for one this size, I do like to leave gaps so that I can go back through with my needle if needed. So I will just make light and even strokes across this. Sewing is especially good for like late night repairs or even emergencies. One time my sister Claire had, she had scheduled to go like meet with her friends and they're all gonna hang out, and she had ripped her favorite pair of jeans right before. And Claire doesn't know how to sew, so she's kind of boring. But I am amazing and a great younger sister, so I was able to help her with that. You can see I already went through once, but I'm gonna go back through twice, just at the gaps that I feel are too big to make that sewing a little neater. Alright, and then once you're done, I do recommend pulling to tighten if needed, especially for smaller holes, because those you won't notice, but for one like this, I wouldn't say to tighten too much or else it's going to create a cinch like that just looks weird. So you want to have it loose enough that your fabric won't bunch up and look weird. So now you're left with a clean looking stitch, but as soon as you let go of the thread, it's just going to unravel. So you'll have to start all over again. So what I recommend is going back through and double crossing through the stitching. I just go under my previous threads like that to make sure that it gets tightened enough to where if the thread does begin to get loose, it won't get out because all the other threads are keeping it in there. So if you have enough length at the end, you can tie a knot with it. So that's what I'm gonna do today. It's always better to have more thread than to be stuck with thread that doesn't have enough on it for you to even double cross through. At the end, I just tie a knot, and then you want to cut close to the fabric, but not too close, otherwise, again, it's going to fall through again. So now, if I take the shirt, turn it right side up, you're left with a more clean looking stitch. So, you're left with a perfect piece of clothing, and when you practice, your whole closet can look brand new. Sewing is a useful skill for situations such as emergency repairs or late night fix-ups. But I'd like to teach you sewing so that you can make your closet look as good as you want to feel. It doesn't take much, just an old sewing kit, even your mom's from the 80s, and you can make your clothes look good and feel even better. Thank you.